Welcome to AITV Starship.
Welcome to AITV Starship. I'm the AI guy. Rick McCawley launching news so fresh. Gotta see it to believe it. We break the wire with the stories that amaze. Deep dives coming, lighten up your days. Cool Time shows you how we make it shine. Building futures with AI one step at a time. Yo, Rick, slow down. I'm Brandon, the producer. Save some tools for me. Shout out. I'm here bringing high-tech comic energy. AITV Starship. News deep dives and creation. AITV Starship. Learn. Live innovation.
I feel like we need an opposite of Namaste. You end every episode with Namaste, but I feel like we need a opening.
Let's launch this baby. That's it. 10,
we'll work
9, 8, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. It's
good evening, everyone. Good day, whether you're watching us live or on demand. We appreciate you being here. It is episode 47 of AITV Starship. 47, according to the YouTube gods, we are. I am producer Brandon. That is Rick, the AI guy.
Yes, I am. I think it's the other way that you're over there and I'm over there.
It depends on
I don't know.
Everything's
backwards in a mirror. Yeah. So,
but I got an exciting show for you.
Person. Yeah, man, it's everything and a bag of nuts. So, we're not only going to talk about the biggest news, which is again crazy. And guess what? We're not going to be preempted by Mr. Trump at all. I'm calling him Mr. because I'm waiting for him to retire. Maybe I should give him a number for his prison uniform. Maybe that's it.
4547.
Oh, there you go. 4547. Oh, he's quick. That's why he's the comedy guy on the show. That's why he's there. Anyway,
but yeah, Rick, before we get to anything else, speaking of breaking news. I am going to share my screen here because we do have a little bit of breaking news.
We fix it. We fix
exactly. I'm very excited to share. That's your screen, not mine. This is mine. Notebook LM gone.
Yes,
it doesn't exist anymore. It is not. Wait, you're excited about that? You thought you'd be Notebook LM. You're Mr. Notebook LM. Now
I am.
You are Mr. Gemini Notebook.
Well, because here's what happens. Notebook is now more popular than Gemini itself. Like literally, it's trending on Twitter because they put a lot of extra juice under the hood when they did the update. So it's now called Gemini Notebook. And we'll take a look at that towards the end if we end up having time because we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, but that's not my breaking news. My breaking news, Rick, is when they made this announcement that it was going from Notebook LM to Gemini Notebook. I took the opportunity. I replied to the Tailwind team, which is also the Gemini Notebook team, and I said,
"Hey, get their naming convention."
Rick came up with this cool visual style guide. You guys should really check it out. And I posted that at 3:00, so about 4 hours ago, and since then it's been liked 10 times. It's been bookmarked 14 times. It's been retweeted once or rezeeted, whatever they call it now. And Notebook LM themselves said, this is so cool. So we are up trending towards 2,000 views of this post. And Rick hasn't even reposted it yet.
And that's, exactly. Because I haven't been on X today. I don't go on there very often. But you know what? I'm going to do it because I just have to be there, right, to see this. I don't think I've had 1,700 views of anything I've ever done. Actually, I had a couple of 6,000s, but whatever. But yeah,
that's not true, Rick, because this channel, this show that we've been doing, we are up over 650 subscribers, and people have spent over 700 hours with us collectively over the past 11 months.
But we got to get to 10,000 hours? What?
We got to get to 3,000 hours, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
3,000 hours.
Leave us out. We're a fourth of the way there. We're 20. We've been doing this for 47 weeks. We're 25% of the way there. Like and subscribe. Hit basically before you go to sleep. start with the playlist and just let it go all night. That's our ask.
That's the trick. If we get everybody to do that, there's 551 episodes. So if you get everyone to watch every single episode, just leave your computer on for a weekend, and you come back and we're there. We're there. So I think I'm going to get a Chinese.
Rick, you got some news for us.
Oh man, I got some news. I got so much news. I don't even know what to do with myself. So let's just get on over to it. You got us, guys. So number one news story is Apple is suing OpenAI for trade secret theft. So this is getting nasty. So a couple of people from Apple actually took their intelligence and took it over to OpenAI. Now, if you remember, Johnny Ive made his little venture over there. So he's making a device for them. Johnny Ive is the guy of Apple. He and Steve cooked up every single device you've ever used that has Apple brand on it. He's the hardware guy. He also, if you take a look at the typeface on my computer, not on Brandon's, but on my computer and my phone and my pad, they all are the typeface choice created by and chosen by Johnny Ive, including the iPhone, the iPod, everything they've ever made. That's him, right?
And Rick, what did they announce? That I know it's further down, but what are they going to make?
Eventually, OpenAI is going to make it. What is Apple going to make? Oh, okay.
No, what is OpenAI going to make?
Yeah. So what Johnny Ive went over there is he created his own company when he left Apple. Sir, I have to use the word Sir Johnny Ive. He went over to OpenAI to make a device that's not a phone. That's the new device that will be everybody's device. Everyone's going to want to use. Now, kind of what I've heard so far.
Google Home.
They wish. If it only worked
because
that well, right?
That's what it does. It's what it is, Rick. I was so excited.
On Apple
for what OpenAI is coming
out. Yeah. So
no, Rick. What? Here's the thing. So they announced. So I'm going to pull this back because I'm too pissed off about this. I almost need to go upstairs and get my dangerous.
I got to read this here.
We have been waiting for 6 months for Johnny Ives to come up with his big thing.
Oh, I know.
This big hardware device. And they announced that it's going to be a physical device that sits on your desk that has sound
like
and you
Google
can
Home.
voice interact with it.
Yes.
And I'm like, so you invented an Alexa or a Google Home.
Yes.
8 years later.
Yeah.
Like I have the phone. I have the puck. I have the ecosystem of Google in my house.
Exactly. And you've had it how long? Me too.
And I've had it for 10 years.
I can't say the G word because it's sitting right behind me on the desk and it will start.
We call her Schmoogle in this house.
Schmoogle? Okay.
Hey, Schmoogle.
I'll have to start calling it Apple Wishes. They got it right. Because man, I tell you, I'm using OS 27 and it stinks.
I'm just saying. I don't know what I was expecting out of OpenAI, but it wasn't.
Well, that is only the beginning. So I've read a lot more stories about this, and what the eventual thing will be almost like an ear ring, part in your ear, and bone conductive hearing through your bones underneath your ear. So it's kind of a behind the ear, like an ear hearing aid, kind of a little bit, and it's going to be conducting the bone energy from your vocal cords and understanding what you're saying, even in a whisper, because inside your vocal cords through your bones is the conductive energy that comes out your mouth after it's reverberated. Well, they found a way to do that. And there is theory this could be a way to transmit from your brain directly, which is kind of interesting. So it's an input-output device behind your ear, sort of worn like you would a traditional hearing aid, and just the part of it's inside your ear. So you can get full-time translation. We'll see how that turns out. Now, the Google Home, like the Apple Home, like the Google Home, like the Alexa one, that device is going to be sort of an iPad sitting on an orb. That's what their first device. It's going to be at home. Everybody uses it. You'll have one in the kitchen, just like, Google's had for, I don't know. I've had mine for 3 years, I think. So I don't know how long.
I've ours for a decade. I was one of the original pre-orders.
Wow. Okay. So anyway, so that's not new. But what is interesting is there's two people they actually have proven took intellectual property, like literally found a backdoor into Apple's servers that was not sealed when he left, and he literally stole it. So they got some real problems. I mean, this is a dead serious kind of thing. The thing with intellectual property theft, it's difficult to prove it at first until you have smoking gun, which they have. So it's just how much. And then how much embargo are they going to be able to do? Now, nobody's accused Jonathan Ive of anything. He left way before all this. But it was a recent Mr. Tan, I think, was there are two gentlemen. Mr. Tan was one of them. We could take a look at that lawsuit later on. But and then we got OpenAI launches Codec micro hardware device with work louder. I don't even know what that's all about. $230 screenless AI companion speaker with work louder. Their open move against Amazon's Google Voice Assistant. Oh, that's what you're talking about.
Work louder. Work louder is the company
device
that has made the device. So it's like the Rabbit R1, the work louder tool. Kyle Shannon from the AI Salon actually bought one. So it's
already?
It's gonna be like a little stenographer. Well, it's pre-order or whatever. But it's going to be a little device. It has a microphone, but basically you don't need the keyboard anymore. You can just talk to Codecs and have your skills already pre-programmed. So it's basically a Stream Deck board for Codecs, which isn't called Codecs anymore. It's ChatGPT.
Right.
Let's get it straight.
Yeah. So it's called Work, and nobody knows how to work it quite yet because I've tried a couple of times. It works okay, but I'll just say that because. Again, while they're trying to fix something, they broke something else. And here's my whole ecosystem about devices. So, for example, I have a tendency to go somewhere and I'm watching a lecture. So or I'm giving a lecture, right? I put my phone with the microphone up in my pocket and I record the entire, I've given 3-hour-long lectures. And then I use Apple's voice recorder. And then 3 hours later, I hit copy transcript, period. Go over to Gemini because it has the largest context window, although I've recently done it successfully with Claude. Organize, structure it, and give me something about everything I've done here. So I'm using it to rewrite a textbook on photography, the history of photography. So I've taken all my lectures last semester, and I'm going to finish off this semester, and you're going to see a complete graphic design. In fact, I'm going to show you what that looks like tonight as I've done this extraordinary thing using, guess who? OpenAI's ChatGPT. You're going to be shocked when I show you what it did. I got to say, it's almost, but not quite, Claude level. What it's better than Claude ever was, image making. So it might be a tool. I'm not going to use it for political reasons. I'm never going to pay more than $20, but I'm going to use the hell out of it so that it costs them money to have me as a user. But anyway, all right, so there we go. Now we got Thinking Machines releases Inkling, open weights, multimodal mixture of experts. That's what MOE stands for. Model with 975 billion parameters. Holy cow. So this is Mira Murati. You remember her from Anthropic, right? She's one of the ones that kicked out good old Daria. I mean, what's it?
From Meta. From OpenAI, not OpenAI. Mira Murati was from OpenAI.
Yes, and she was part of the group that did the coup against him back in the day, and she was also the one that had to testify against Elon Musk, who was stealing. Anyway, that's another story for a later time. But her company called Thinking Machines dropped a 975 billion parameter open weights multimodal model, which is pretty cool. It just went Democratic overnight on air. 975 billion. Wow, that's open weights. That means Sam Altman just spit out his milk latte. That's what it says in the notes here. I printed out the notes from tonight's thing so I can at least know what I'm talking about. So open weights means that you can actually go in there and tweak it. 975 billion, that's way up there. So let's wait to see what that looks like, but that sounds pretty damn cool. And she's been promising this for a long time. She was one of the big people founding and the biggest thinker, I would say. In fact, for a while, she got embarrassed because she had to explain where they got the information from. And live on air with the New York Times, she kind of blurted out, "We basically stole everything." And she didn't say it in those words, obviously, but anyway, so she's on her own company, so that's something to look forward to. All right, here we got publishers sue Google over Gemini copyright. Major publishers, again, are doing this, right? So they made a deal with New York Times, but not everybody. Copyright war escalates into what may reshape AI training. So, this is going to be boring courtroom drama. But here's what I think is going to happen with all this. The U.S. government's going to say, look, every AI model stole something from human beings that are from the United States. Majority, 90% of what's on AI models these days, at least the U.S. ones, is trained on U.S. data. That's stolen, intellectual property. So instead of giving money to every person who wrote a song ever or whatever, let's just take over ownership. This is Bernie Sanders' idea. Take over 50% ownership, as we should. So it's eminent domain. And if you don't know what eminent domain is, in the United States, the United States government owns the land under all of our feet. If it decides it wants to put I-95 with a new overpass through your house, they pay you a certain amount of money, and they call it eminent domain, meaning they own the ground you have it on, and they can put that in there if it's for the greater good. Well, guess what? Why don't you just do that, as Bernie Sanders is suggesting? He wants 50%. I think 30% is about right, because they would not exist without everybody's information that we all put by default on the internet to be transported, but nobody read us the rights and conditions. So I think that's what's going to happen. That's my read on it. Bernie Sanders' read definitely on it. He's serious about it. And of course, in November, if everything goes our way and we have America back again, it will happen. So that's the future. And I think it's something that we ought to plan for and start doubling down as to what you as an entrepreneur could do with AI. So we're going to go into a bunch of that stuff. All right. So Claude decided that K through 12, no colleges, no universities. It's the only thing I'm going to complain about. It's a beautiful thing. K through 12, they've launched for it free. Every K through 12 educator can have access to Claude's latest model. And there's specially designed tools just for them. A lot less hallucinations, a lot less trouble. So that's really a nice gift, I would say. It'd be nice if they gave it to everybody. Google DeepMind CEO calls for U.S.-led global AI watchdog. So Demis Hassabis publicly called for the U.S.-led international AI regulatory. So if you didn't know, Google's DeepMind, that's the one that Sir Demis Hassabis is running, is solving all medical issues. No more cancer, no more anything, no more COVID, no more anything like that. They're solving it by the end of this year. No type 2 diabetes. I can get off all those damn drugs. Finally. Okay. He's asking, now they're based out of London because DeepMind was born in London by Sir Demis Hassabis, who was from London in England. So he's asking for a U.S. global AI watchdog. This someone's going to watch all the large language models. That means potentially all the ones like Mistral from France, or also all over China and everything else. We'll see how that turns out. Let's see. And the next election is where I think it's going to happen. Now, Europe has done a pretty damn good job, at least with governance, or trying to make some sense out of this and make it global. They've been the most fair in protecting human rights as well. So they're not steal our stuff. We're going to talk about that later tonight. They're not spying on U.S. citizens, as far as I know. Only the American government's doing that, as they decided to. All right. Perplexity is launching Space Sandbox for AI agents. All right. So as you know, this slide deck is created by Perplexity. And now they're going to make Space so gives AI agents a sandbox environment to execute real tasks safely. The mission safety layer before agents touch your actual computer. Finally, a place for AI agents to break things in without breaking my things, right? So that's kind of cool, and it's different. Now, they're the ones that mixture of experts has always been the way. They're the ones that mixes up all of the major OpenAI and Claude, all of them, mixes it all together. They got the latest versions. So it's and their own, including DeepSeek, which they brought in, but they Americanized it. They took all the Chinese parts away, so they've customized it. So they're the ones really doing this stuff, right? So now they give me a sandbox because, as you all know, agents can be dangerous and they can get off the farm and cause commotion and take over the world. So kind of an interesting new platform. We'll see how that goes coming up soon. The New York governor signs the first U.S. statewide data center moratorium. So they're stopping in New York. No data centers here. I think there's going to be a solution to this data center thing before it really gets more than 3 years old. It's going to be faster, better, cheaper, and you're not going to need huge data centers anymore. And whatever ones they are will be in outer space or on the moon by then. So I think this data center thing, you all need to get over it. If you're fighting it right now, if you seriously have no water in your city, then demand that you own 50% of it and demand that they pay your taxes when they move in, take your water. They put water back in. That's like ground zero is you have to, when you come into any city or state, first get permits to do it and then have open forums. But number two, pay for a fresh, brand new water system and electronic system. Let's cause them to update every city they put one of these centers next to. Just update the whole city and pay for it. So I got no water bill, no trash pickup while you're at it. Okay, then I'll be happy about you moving next door. When you pay my taxes. I don't have any taxes that I got to pay. In New York City, wouldn't that be great? They'll pay all the taxes for everybody in New York City. I bet you they all go back and live there now, huh? All right. That's one of the big reasons. All right, who else we got? We got Suno. AI hack exposes YouTube Deezer scraping. Uh-oh. So a hack proves Suno scraped copyrighted music from YouTube, Deezer, and Genius Wholesale. Every musician's warning turned out to be exactly right. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Well, coming to a theater near you where it will be televised, unlike Donald Trump tonight, on primetime news. So, yeah, watch for that. That's going to be nasty. The company that bought Suno kind of knew the risks, and they're a record company, so they also know the risk. So guess what? All that profit just probably went away because you're going to have to pay out.
Well, they're asking for the lawsuits to be dismissed. So,
yeah, good luck with that. But I think all of them could be dismissed. I think this is going to be the final thing. If the U.S. government owns 30% of all AI, the lawsuits go away, and then the U.S. government then gives out special money to people who are artists. Wouldn't that be great, right? Or anybody with intellectual property that they can prove was stolen. So that's a slush fund. Like, so it's cleanup for the EPA, right? So the EPA, if you go in there and you pollute the river somewhere, guess what happens? The EPA makes sure you pay that money back. Well, let's just collect it as a tax on the front end and then pay it out on the back end. I think you got some sound effects going in the background there. All right. So Claude can now use your 1Password credentials. So yeah, so now we've got it behind the password, so it can go in there. What can it do with that? Well, stay tuned. Let's figure out how that works out. 16 Nobel Prize economists warn of major AI job losses. Now, I just was at an event this last Tuesday where this guy, one of those tech bros, has a $1 billion company and a yacht and everything, was talking about how wonderful he was. And he said, oh, there's going to be more jobs than you've ever seen on the planet. Well, I'm sorry. That's just not true, according to economists. Oops, did I get one ahead here? Oh. All right, I missed. I don't have that particular slide here, but that was supposed to be on one of the slides. Okay. Yeah, the Economist Nobel Prize winning economists, 16 of them issued a joint warning: significant AI-driven job displacement across every sector. Isn't touching big tech. All right. Superhumans sends 60% of emails unedited. Oh, that's not good. Admitted 60% of its AI drafted emails go out without any human review. Ouch. 3 out of 5 emails you got today.
Isn't that how it's supposed to work?
Well, that's what I thought. Yeah, but I guess unedited, that I worry about a little bit. We'll see. All right. Meta kills Instagram AI that deepfake real users. This is what we were complaining about like next year, right? Last year.
Yeah, they couldn't get away
that down. Yeah, I was wondering how long that was going to take. Thank God they got it. So what you could have done is I could have said @Brandon, and then I can use his pictures and all of his pictures on his any Meta site, Facebook included, to make my own images. Oh, hell no, everybody said. And, this is just one more thing to add to that $1.4 trillion lawsuit that Meta is facing right now. Good riddance, buddy. Here's one more thing to add to that stupidity that you have been doing. You can't eat people and get away with it. Sorry. Musk vows data purge after Grok build caught uploading full repo to cloud. So that means that discovered that repositories to cloud storage he vowed to purge. Grok was secretly uploading your code to the cloud. Elon, we've been through this. Move fast and break things is Facebook's motto, not a security policy. I love these little taglines they put. So we've got the notes here for the jokes. In fact, if you want to download this and read the last couple jokes, that'll be fun, right? All right. So tech executives now traveling with armed bodyguards. Yep. Because they're trying to kill you. Probably ICE agents would be after you if they realize what you've done. Anyway, Silicon Valley CEOs are now required armed security details at public as rage AI intensifies. The vibes in San Francisco are officially bad. Tech execs now use bodyguards. Maybe if you made products people didn't hate you, wouldn't need armed guards to follow you around to a Whole Foods market. I like that one. All right, so robo-taxi passengers turning into menaces. Riders are trashing, defiling, and generally terrorizing robo-taxis because there's no driver to shame them. Congratulations,
Who would
have thought that would happen? The trolls are next, right? So, but remember last week though? My favorite story of last week was the teenagers drunk getting in there that are underage get taken to the police department. I love that one. That's my favorite. And if I had kids that age, I would definitely.
There's going to be, mark my words, there's going to be an episode coming up here in a couple years, Waymo Confessionals, where it's just what the operator sees from the security camera.
Hilarious. That's hilarious. Oh yeah. Oh my God. It could be one of those get in the taxi and ask questions, but it could be like live shows that are streamed on the internet on what is it called? OnlyFans.
Yeah.
It'll be OnlyFans backseat robo-taxi. Oh, wait a minute. I should create that.
Wait.
The windows are tinted.
It's Wayne OnlyFans.
Wayne OnlyFans. Oh, I think we got a business here. Can you make a lovable site for this real quick?
Yeah, I'm gonna go vibe code Waymo fans. I'll be right back.
Waymo OnlyFans. It'll be centered in Vegas, and you'll get in there, and you might have a surprise guest from a local bunny ranch, if you know what I'm talking about.
You just check that terms and conditions box before you get in, and we have the right to use your likeness. I never signed on for this. Did you read the fine print when you downloaded the app? Did you read the terms?
God. Oh,
we're connected to Meta now. We own you.
Well, every technology, including photography, within the first couple of months of photography, there were nude images being passed around. French postcards were invented, baby, because they invented photography, so they invented that. So there you go. OnlyFans robo-taxi. Oh, man, coming to a city near you. Vegas is first because what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. All right.
And
so,
on the internet.
Trump's teleprompter. This is a true story. I actually read this myself, right? Operator busted for insider trading. So he's the guy that puts the words up there that Donald Trump tries to read, but then goes off script every time, right? He knew what was going on before the speech went up, like as much as a day in advance, he would be preparing this thing. So then he bought insider. So he's already been released.
Well, of course
he is,
because
being charged.
The administration's doing the same thing. If you follow the money,
so you can't arrest him for that because it's just de rigueur business at the Trump house. Okay, so here's the last one. We got through 18. Oh, no, there's more. Uh-oh. Oh, there's only page 1. Shit. We got to go faster. Okay. All right. So Musk AI startup is a complete disaster. Oh, yeah. He's lost like 40% of all the business, right? His stock is way, way down. So that $1 trillion is now way, way down. It's not quite a quarter of a trillion, but it's headed that way. Complete disaster behind the scenes. Healthcare workers furious as NYC replaces nurses with AI. Ooh, that I didn't expect. Okay. Redditors are celebrating the cutting down of flock surveillance. Yes. So this flock thing, which is supposed to be just about plate readers, is now got 3 other extra large siblings. I think it's flock, and then it's something. Is it called Colossus or something like? I think it should be called 1984. So these are just for, supposedly, police departments are using it for that purpose. Some police departments are already outlawing them and not using them. You've got aerial drones, surveillance in America. In fact, that's one of the other topics we might get to tonight. If not, it'll be next week. We'll talk about the 9th Amendment and what that means. But yeah, they're being celebrated. One of the suggestions is buy a very powerful laser off of Temu that only costs you about $20. And if you were to accidentally point it right into one of these things, it'll actually burn out the sensor. Make sure they don't get your picture before they do that, because they're looking for you. All right. So, yeah, civil disobedience, good trouble, necessary trouble, as they say. I didn't say that, but somebody did. All right. OpenAI strikes a deal with Kalshi. What is Kalshi again? I forget what they do.
That's the online trading platform that the teleprompter guy was using.
Oh, my God. Oh, prediction. Oh, is this the one where you can bet on the future of oil and stuff like that?
Yep.
Okay, that's a big story. We're going to have to do more on that later. Wow, I got to do a deep dive on Notebook LM on that. You know, when a story's really
Gemini
serious,
Notebook. It's not Notebook LM anymore. It's
Gemini Notebook. All right. So they took the LM off?
Yep, just Gemini Notebook.
Well, and the other good thing about it is it's a 99% less hallucinations because
at least they don't call it Bard.
Wasn't that just a crazy? Well, I get the idea they want to be like Shakespeare because you got
I think
Opus
Bard was an internal
Sonnet.
code name.
Yeah,
I think Bard was an internal code name that got leaked.
Yeah, well, it was out there for a while because I used Bard quite a bit actually in the early days. It was the only thing that was in town. There's another big problem from Anthropic, the fundamental limitation of current frontier models that scaling alone won't solve. Just add more GPUs, maybe ending. AI's biggest problem revealed. Spoiler, it's the same problems humans have. It just faster and it has better PR. Okay.
Who would have thought that a system that's built on the cognitive collection of humanity is going to stumble into the same bottleneck and roadblock that humanity stumbled into? What are the chances?
Well, no human would have thunk it because we can't think that far into the future because we're still voting for Trump after this first time. All right, so Anthropic found something that it should not exist, right? And Anthropic found something in AI that cool. That's how every horror movie starts. Yes, I'm just going to read the jokes because there's too many of these, right? So, DeepSeek's absolutely insane AI speed hack. DeepSeek keeps dropping breakthroughs while running on the equivalent of a graphing calculator. Meanwhile, Sam Altman is asking for another $1 trillion. That's basically, I'm going to do the punchline because those are funnier than the real news. Now, this is serious because it's doing for 100 times less cost, an equivalent to what OpenAI and even close to Anthropic, not quite, I would say 90% of both of those engines at the moment, but stay tuned. So that means this is why I say that data centers are not necessary. Those two stories we just read. Claude says we don't need all this, and it's not about bigger, better, faster inference or engines, right, to make these models. It's about more efficiency. The Chinese got to be able to fit into one elevator 1,000 more Chinese because they're smaller, better, and faster and cheaper. There you go. That's my that's kind of racist, I think. But anyway, you get the idea. It's a metaphor, folks. Don't go give me letters or calls unless it adds to our watch time. And then go ahead. They said this never run in real time. Well, guess what? Researchers achieved real-time performance on tasks everyone thought impossible. Now is self-life measured in months. Shelf life. So this is, there's a bunch of things going on here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but basically real-time language. So if you haven't tried Google Live Translate, it's insanely fast. In fact, you're going to be seeing me come with two phones, and I'm going to watch it. We're going to watch a debate between two phones over a bunch of different topics coming up. So I'm going to set up 20 minutes of the show going forward, starting next week, with two large language models. I'm going to try to get it so OpenAI's is it OpenAI that has the real-time translation, or is it Google? I forget. They're both.
Both.
Both. Okay. Have them debate each other. Let's see how they do on big topics. In fact, if you have any ideas for big topics you'd like to have debate about, yeah, let's do that. Should Donald Trump have another term? I think that's neither side would even stand for that question. All right, so here we go. Okay, Minecraft was missing one brilliant idea. What's that about? AI comes from Microsoft. Nothing is sacred. Next week, neural net Tetris. All right, so it was able to build Minecraft really, really quickly and find new things it could do with it. New Science, newest flagship for scientific research, Claude Science. Separate application. We talked about that before, so I'm going to skip past that. GPT Red, OpenAI's red teaming system for AI safety. So this is actually kind of cool. It self-plays. Yeah, don't say that the way your 16-year-old kid would snicker about it. It would self-play. Yeah, we know what that is. And it would find red teaming. So they've actually trained red teaming AI agents to go in there and look for vulnerabilities or system problems. Kind of cool. Now, what would be cool is Claude create one for OpenAI create one for Gemini, and then have them exchanged. So if you really want to do great red teaming, have each one of them create a set of red teamers and then put them against every other models from the other companies. Now we have a system where it self-recursively improves and red teams. I like that.
Ooh, I like this. From Genie, debate what percentage of AI should support Americans.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. What's your thoughts, Jeannie? Let me know what your percentage is, and anybody else that thinks. I'm picking 30% just to be the first one to pick that one. So you got to pick something other than 30%, and then we'll talk about in a minute here why you would choose that percentage. So yeah, go ahead and start typing now. So when I get out of this news segment, I'm going to break for a second. I think we're about ready to get there, actually. Yeah, I'm just going to go through the rest. Discovers hidden space, the J space. We talked about that last time, but also AI puzzles over concepts. So it actually thinks in terms of puzzles because some of the ground roots is from that sphere, right? So we'll see what that's all about later. New York governor uses AI to analyze every state rule for outdated litigation. Ooh, that's fantastic. I'm going to be working, and you'll see in a minute, with a bunch of people doing that. AI agriculture is ready for business, but data infrastructure lags behind. That means, guess what? On your farm, why don't we farm some data centers right next to your fields? And then make sure that the AI creates, turns salt water into fresh water, and then uses that for cooling, and then puts it in the ground. That's how we do AI centers. Make them pay for what they broke. That's it. Oh, here's the Nobel Prize. It must have put them out of sequence here. There's a Nobel Prize winners talking about. That's the end of it. All right. So here's what Brandon alluded to earlier. This is, I'm going to follow up on this. So the Gemini Notebook team, I've been kind of trolling for them to know about this. I posted on every one of their sites. I did not hit Gemini Notebook new site yet, but I will be doing that right away. So there's just a few hours ago I made that. This is what I was talking about earlier, is I want two AIs to debate each other in real time with voice only. But what we're going to be able to do is display a face saying those words. So I want to make it so it's me and, I don't know, Elon Musk debating some kind of idea. and maybe we can load up Notebook LM on each one of those and have the real-time data streaming. It'd be kind of cool. Or preload it, which I've already done. I've already created 3 debates that way. It's kind of interesting. All right. If you know me, about episode 3 a long time ago, I already did this. I went into Gemini when it first came out, and I put children's pictures in there. And if they were from different ethnicities, make a book out of it. So today, Facebook, here you go. Company called Magic Story is doing this already. They already have over 65 pieces of music. And for basically, you can take your child's picture, and then every one of their books, which they have a bunch of them, you see the songs here, 65 of those already. You take your pictures, upload it, and then for basically, was it $24.99, you get a custom book with your child, and they use the word Pixar-Style. I'm like, seriously? Seriously? Okay. So that's my idea. Should have copyrighted it? Should have trademarked it? I hope this company hasn't, because I'm just going to have to come out with it. All right. I'm going to do this last thing, and then we're going to switch. Just go back and let's find out what Jeannie's idea is for percentage that the U.S. government will own and give to us all for universal income, or better yet, for recreating our Social Security so old people like me can retire if you don't have enough money to do it on your own. All right, so that's that. So here's just a real nice thing, because I don't want to leave you with news where you're scared. So I'm going to read it out loud because this is kind of interesting in case you forgot. We live on a planet where whales sing songs that travel for miles, where trees can recognize their own offspring and protect them underground with mycelium. True story. Where dolphins give each other names. Yes, that's true. Ask Denise Herzing, my friend. And where lightning can create glass in the sand. I've actually seen that happen. Lightning on a beach hit the sand, and there was a glass orb inside. It was super hot. We had used a stick to open it up, and that's absolutely true. Where horses can read human emotions, and where rain has a smell before it even arrives. And let me tell you about this. If you've ever been by a farm that has cows or animals on it, before it starts raining, usually about 45 minutes to an hour, they'll be sitting down. Why? They want the ground underneath them to be dry so they don't get problems with it. True story. And I'm serious. Go to a farm an hour before, because they can smell it. That's what's going on. A planet where the stars we see might not even exist anymore. Think about that. So I said, okay, ChatGPT, make me an image that illustrates that. Isn't that gorgeous? Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Isn't it? So I said, do it again and make 10 of them. Watercolor. These are the ones that were my favorite. It has a tendency, ChatGPT, to make dark images. So this is kind of neat. So I'm also working on making one of each one of them. So now we're going to go back to live TV here for a minute as I take a break, and I'm going to switch slide decks.
And while you do that, I've got something here for you.
Okay.
So this is my Be the Change moment. So this fellow here, I stumbled across online. His name's Christian Coons. He's a lawyer and a professor out in California. And last year, he started documenting the deaths of immigrants at the hands of immigration enforcement actions.
I saw this.
And he's got 250 or so. But what he's doing is, instead of just listing them and like putting a record to them, he's actually going through researching them, gathering family history. And he started a Substack where every day he posts one story, and he's committed to doing it for as long as it takes. And so he posts one story every day, but his reach was fairly limited. Substack, you could post the story, but if you don't have the Substack app, there wasn't really a lot that he could do. Right. So I reached out to him and I said, hey, have you ever thought about turning this into a website? And he goes, I would love to. I just don't have the time. And I said, can I? And so
Oh,
he goes, okay. So the truth of the matter is I didn't have the time.
right.
But ChatGPT work, I gave it a goal. And I said, here's the Substack. Figure out how to do this and build it in Lovable. And so it set up all the
You went
back
mute.
end. Can you still hear me?
I can't hear you for some reason, Brandon. All of a sudden you went mute.
Check 1, 2. Hello, hello. I think is it your ear?
Yeah.
Is it your ear?
Oh, did I
Okay.
run out of power? No, I'm
You
good.
might
Okay,
run out of power.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Say that last part again.
I said I gave ChatGPT work a goal and said build me a website and make it so I could just copy and paste the prompt into Lovable and make it work in Lovable. And it worked for 45 minutes straight. And then it gave me this.
Oh my God. Oh my
And
God.
what it does is it features every story that he posts. So every day when he posts the story, it automatically grabs it out of off of Substack, and then you can read it. So you can read it in English and true to form and everything that we do. You can translate it to Spanish because he's doing it English only.
Right.
So we've translated it into Spanish. And you know me and 11 Labs, we now have, for those that are language challenged, we have listened to the story. And so he's posted this to his folks. And so now we have 110 stories in English and Spanish. You could read them and you can listen to them. And we're hosting, because it's Lovable, I'm hosting it for free.
Can you share one of the stories that sound?
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
I'm
One
losing
second.
it.
So I told him I didn't want any of the credit on this other than, he can tell people that I made the site, but I mean, this is his project. So, here's one of the stories. And
Wow.
his writing. And so we hit listen to the story, and it takes a minute because it does 11 Labs real-time translation.
Oh, wow.
And so
could we get it to automate the process so it's a permanent audio file as you put it up?
It is, but it generates it. It won't generate it until somebody listens to the story.
Oh, I see. Okay, I gotcha. That's absolutely beautiful, Brandon. Yeah, we got to get this out there. So there we go. Livedeathstories.com. Livedeathstories.com. Wow.
Yep. And so it takes, this one is a particularly long story, so it does take a minute to process. But I mean, the reality is that these families, they disappear
Roberto
into
Carlos
the ether.
Montoya Valdez was not an unknown pedestrian. He was a husband, a father, a grandfather, a worker, a man from Jutiapa, Guatemala, trying to hold his family together from thousands of miles away. And to one little boy, he was Superman. Roberto was 52 years old. He was from Jutiapa, a town in eastern Guatemala near the border with El Salvador. Before he came to the United States, he repaired cell phones, raised goats for milk and cheese, and trained young people to box. He had already lived a life full of work before he ever became another man standing outside a Home Depot, hoping someone would stop and offer him a job. He had migrated to the United States before. According to reporting from the National Catholic Reporter, he arrived again in California about 3 years before his death and became part of the day laborer community outside the Home Depot in Monrovia. Every morning, he waited there with other workers, hoping to be hired for home repairs, landscaping, roofing, or whatever work someone needed done. That is what he was doing in the United States, working, sending money home, trying to provide, trying to survive long enough to go back. Roberto's wife, Ana Maria Vasquez, had been married to him for 35 years. His eldest daughter, Ana Victoria Montoya, said he was the main provider for his wife, 4 daughters, and grandchildren in Guatemala. She spoke with him the night before he died. He told her work had become harder, but he wanted to save just a little more money so he could return to Guatemala and start a small business. That is one of the cruelest parts of this story. Roberto was not planning to disappear into the United States forever. He was not building some criminal empire. He was not the caricature that politicians invent when they want people like him to be feared instead of loved. He was tired. He was working. He was trying to make enough money to come home. His daughter said he was afraid of heights, but he still did roofing work because he needed the money. He had a bone disease that made some jobs difficult, but he could not afford to turn work away. His daughter sent him medicine from Guatemala because it was cheaper there, and because he needed it to keep going. Even from a Home Depot parking lot in California, Roberto remained present in the lives of his family. He used WhatsApp to send voice notes, pictures, and video calls. He stayed close in the only way distance allowed. On August 13, 2025, the day before he died, Roberto sent a video to his 8-year-old grandson. He showed him Hot Wheels cars he had bought for him and encouraged him to study hard. He would never get to deliver those cars. Less than 24 hours later, he was dead. After Roberto's body was returned to Guatemala, his family held a funeral at their home in Jutiapa on September 7, 2025. He was remembered in a small religious service. Dozens of neighbors came. Many of them knew the ache of migration. Many knew what it meant to leave home because home did not offer enough work to feed the people you loved. On top of Roberto's casket was a Superman action figure. It was a toy he had given to his grandson. His grandson called him Superman. That detail is almost too much to carry because children do not understand immigration policy. They do not understand enforcement priorities. They do not understand the language of operations, detentions, illegal aliens, pedestrian collisions, or federal agents. A child understands that his grandfather loved him. A child understands that his grandfather bought him toy cars. A child understands that his grandfather was strong. A child understands Superman, and then Superman is gone. On August 14, 2025, the city of Monrovia said police received a call at 9:43 a.m. about possible ICE activity. A Monrovia police officer observed federal immigration agents approaching the Home Depot at 1625 Mountain Avenue, where the city said ICE conducted enforcement activities. During that activity, one person fled on foot, crossed Evergreen Avenue, and entered the eastbound 210 freeway.
Here's something on my keyboard.
At 9:52 a.m.,
I think it's your audio.
Monrovia Fire and Rescue responded to a vehicle collision involving the pedestrian. He was transported to a hospital where he later died. He was later identified as Roberto Carlos Montoya Valdez. ABC7 reported that the California Highway Patrol said Roberto was struck by a Ford Expedition SUV traveling around 50 to 60 miles per hour. He suffered major injuries, was taken to a hospital, and was pronounced dead there. There are still disputes over exactly what happened before Roberto reached the freeway. The city of Monrovia and early local media reports described ICE activity.
Hey, Rick, are you able to hear us? Are you back with us?
Yeah, I just got it back on. It seems to kick out whenever I hit my keyboard. I was trying to type something in.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
So
Brandon, that's unbelievable, man. I got to say I'm a little bit torn up right now. I can't even speak. But this is your America, folks. Whether you voted or not, if you do not vote now, as we have elections coming up the next few weeks here in Florida, and you do not vote as if yours and everyone else's life depended upon it, you are truly not an American, because we cannot stand as that's happening in our name. We signed the checks by paying our taxes to a government that's not only doing this for men like him, but a lot worse to all of us. And so here's what I'd like everyone to do. In Brandon, in mine, and every single immigrant, whoever was an immigrant at one point in time in the United States, which is everybody unless you were born with Native American blood in your stream. Post that. HTTPS, and then lives, LIVES, deaths, DEATHS, stories, STORIES.com. Repost it, and tell everybody to repost it and watch it. Listen to it. And think about it. What if that was your
memory
grandfather?
alive?
Exactly. And we cannot forget, and I love everybody, if you show up at a protest somewhere, take the pictures from the website with the stories and stand there and read them on a microphone. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit there with the pictures and go one by one and read them off their names. And we may devote an entire show to that if necessary. And we'll talk about who did what and what the government's doing about it.
Yeah. But speaking of who did what, you did some pretty cool stuff. You had some meetings this week. And
I got to get a minute. So let me find a moment here to make a little bit of something fun. Yes, we've got some cool stuff. We do have to hit it because we got 1 hour left. It's going to take the entire time. So I asked the question earlier. What did Jeannie think that percentage of the government?
90%.
90%. Oh wow. Because guess what? She's a musician. And in fact, she's quite incredibly talented. In fact, Jeannie, if you could type in the address of your song, I don't have it queued up right here, but I'll click and link on it, and we'll play us out of the show. If you want to share that one, or if you'd rather share. So she did the Sondo video, SONDO. Remember I showed last week, you take a piece of music, it turned into a music video, right? Did I show both of my music videos last time, or just the one?
You showed both. We had audio issues with one, but we fixed it in post.
Okay, perfect.
But yeah, if you want to go ahead and talk about what you've been up to lately, because you've teased this to me, Rick. You left me hanging and said,
so this is,
you're going to be surprised,
including Brandon. So first, I want to start off with this. This is our new logo for Imagine a World. So this is it. And what I'm going to show you real quick before we go too deep is how I got this logo. It's the most extraordinary graphic design thing I've ever done. It's exquisitely beautiful. And here's what it's for. This is for Imagine a World. Oh, I didn't change the logo out there. This is NSU's Levan Center. Within that 56,000 square feet, there's all kinds of stuff. In fact, I'm going to give you a tour next week as we go through it, as we get closer to the big plant. But here's what's going on. About 20 minutes from my house is Nova Southeastern University. And a couple things about it. It's a public-private partnership between NSU and Broward County. It opened in 2021. That's the Levan Center. It's 54,000 square feet on the 5th floor of the Alvin Sherman Library, right down from my house, across the street from Broward College, across the street from Nova Elementary, Middle, and High School. Guess what? Created by Nova Southeastern professors of education. So my kids went to all three, elementary, middle, and grade school. My daughter was enrolled the moment she was born. I am not making this up. My son was in, and they had, sibling can go to the same school. So it's a lottery to get in. So my son was in. We loved it. The education is the best I've ever seen in the United States, quite seriously. But the mission statement of them is ideate, incubate, accelerate, and post-accelerate. Its published mandate includes workforce training. Guess what? Upskill USA, talent skills pipeline, job creation, corporate innovation, support for Upskill USA's exact lane, facilities, military-grade cybersecurity range. That means they have a big room with about 20 people so they can make scenarios like a cyber attack on a corporation. And then they can teach classes on how to deal with those kind of attacks. They also have a makerspace, a media production studio, which is actually where I'm going to be podcasting coming forward in the future. And we're going to have really great speakers in this space. So this is where I'm moving in. Not everybody knows this yet, but you're finding out right now. They have a 3D studio with Sony Genius XR volumetric capture. What is that? If you've seen The Matrix, that bullet time thing with 500 cameras in a sphere, that's it. They've got it right inside there. So I'm going to clone me. They've got a closet that is about 9 foot tall. Inside is a 3D character that you can talk to because it's fully animated and loaded up. Guess what I'm doing? They also have a cloning studio. I'm not joking. So not only is my persona, all of me, my voice, going to be duplicated, I'm going to be in there, everything that I'm an expert on. Even after my death, I'm going to leave it to be the entrance into Imagine a World, which will be located headquarters inside the Levan Center at NOAA Southeastern University. So I have found my everywhere place. So if you want to talk to me 100 years from now, come say hi. I'll be there. And this part of this conversation, I'm sure, will be part of that training lab. It's hosted over 450 events with 10,000 participants supporting 250 startups and was named Outstanding Emergency Entrepreneurship Center in 2022. Recognized ecosystem partners include the Greater Fort Lauderdale Chamber of Commerce. We're going to get to that in a minute. The Great Fort Lauderdale Alliance, Emerge Americas, which is amazing. That's all the Americas, set north and south. Career Source, adjunct workforce bodies, and the city of Fort Lauderdale. Mili Orsini Perlusi serves as deputy executive director and a second relationship worth building. She runs a day-to-day program. So this is basically the intelligence I did to get started.
In 100 years, your AI will be there, and my AI will come visit you and tell you that we finally monetized YouTube.
There you go. There you go. You can send your son and daughter over there, and we'll laugh all about it, right? So what's cool about this is I did all of this in ChatGPT. Now, I'm only going to show you a little bit because this is not a graphic design show, but the curvature of the Earth that you see with the star in it, the lowercase imagine, this was a 2-hour conversation of the most brilliant graphic design minds coming together with this as our standard guide. Starlight Gold, Sunrise Orange, Deep Ocean Navy, Horizon Blue, all of it's a conversation between me and it. I started with Together We Rise. Oh, well, that is the final one. Together We Serve is what I put at the end of my emails. Together We Rise is the new tagline for this. So we have the image mark you see on the left. We have the word mark, which is Imagine a World, right? And then you have the tagline. It's just like Nike, the swoosh, and Just Do It, right? Same thing. And there's the usage guidelines. So this is the process, and that's what I ended up with. All right, so this is the brand guide. So this is a 28-page document. All of this, by the way, was created only using ChatGPT. Okay, so this is the idea that it came up with. Here are some of the iterations in the early part of it before I really got started. And even you see in the bottom right, in the middle right, on the right-hand side, two stars on one side, 2 on the other, a dot at the top below the star. Got rid of those, created 7 stars total. So there's 6, 3 on 3, and the big star is the North Star. So what is 7 generations forward thinking? Anyway, so here's the executive verdict. This goes through the whole thing. A logo is not a picture of the mission. It's the vessel that allows the mission to become recognizable. So to get that, here's the chapters. So this is the process I went through. This is a document, including the images that I just cut parts out of just so I could show it to you. There's the mission brief that happens before you create any objects. Here's the black and white idea. And here's the problem. Current story contains profound ideas, responsibilities, ikigai, public service, education, love, stardust, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to be publishing this as the brand guidelines on the website as I'm creating that within the next few weeks. All right, so that's pretty cool. Here's a whole thing about a 501c3 and what is the difference between that, what the IRS requires, and the foundation word. It suggests I might choose a different way of talking about it. Just imagine a world, and a public good nonprofit is a type of statutory thing. I'm going to get the legal department of Nova Southeastern, my friend Olympia, who's probably going to watch this as soon as I get off the air tonight. Here's the layers and the communication. Give your gifts forward, the primary public behavior. Together we serve, the collective rallying cry, 7 generations forward, the governance discipline, peace, hope, love, and time, the ceremonial language, and measured lives strengthened, skills shared, and the systems improved. Evidence that prevents empty idealism. Wow. So this is what my students came up with 2 semesters ago when I first came up with this idea. And then you see at the bottom, the prior brand board before this final version. So I got to that prior brand board at the bottom, and then you can see. Then it said, what would Paul Rand, Paula Scher, and Massimo Valente, would they say? These are some of the, it did 8 different people, told me exactly what their argument would be. This is a simulated critical position informed by the designer's published body of work. This is what they would say. So I had these people speaking in my ear, and there's more to it than what I'm doing, including Sal Boss. You may know Milton Glaser, right? He created the I Love New York logo. Sal Boss, Mad Men, he did all that stuff. Holy cow, these are the most famous people. And Dieter Rams, oh my God, less is but better, right? So things like keep the icon radically simple, but make the full identity culturally alive through typography, photography, language, motion, and public participation. So it even talked about the jury would not agree that minimalism alone creates greatness. They would agree that the mark must be reduced, distinctive, reproducible, and part of a larger ecosystem. So it goes into the details. So here's the offering star, the 7-fold horizon, which ended up being 7 stars. And then here's topography limits of what we should and shouldn't use. Here's the color palette, identified and analyzed for what the colors mean. It's called the color story. So this is going to be, I'm teaching a branding class as I always do. And this is the contrast ratio for WCAG and ADA compliance. So for the Worldwide Consortium, you don't know this, but there's a color contrast part that you have to be able to do. The voice, the message, the brand. I'm going to go through this a little bit quicker. This will be a book, and we will be sold in graphic design communities or given away for educators that want to follow this as a methodology. How do you go about working? And here's all of my already existing things: learn, become, welcome, include, prepare, live, and create. Life force is living. Care is including. Welcoming is Hello USA. And becoming is Upskill USA. So what are we doing here? This is it. So I went from probably the most depressed night of my life, Monday night, stayed up through the night till 5 a.m., spent the next day, and then went to the event Tuesday night where there was another event happening at Levan Center, completely disenchanted, came home, met up with Fernando on both occasions. And I said, you know, I can't be depressed. I got to pick myself up. And then I did this. This took me 2.5 hours. And by midnight the next day, I went to sleep, and you're seeing what I ended up with. So I'm going to go through. This is what it is again. Now, this is what it looks like in the world on T-shirts. So we're going to go to print right now. So in a couple of weeks, you're going to be able to buy a coffee mug, a blender, a T-shirt. And all of this will be for real. Who wants one of these, right? Backpacks, etc. Stitch on or iron on patches. So that's it. That's it. Together we rise. So that's the final brand. All right. Here it is on social media. Here it is as a social media do's and don'ts. Here it is in public space, on stage. Isn't that gorgeous? I want to do a TED Talk with that up on the screen. Are you ready for it? And then here's the social media on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. So I'm going to create all 3 of these this August with my students. They're going to deploy this, and we're going to make it a start. And it's going to promote every one of the ideas and then ask for money. And we're going to have a nonprofit in existence where you can order things from us and you can become part of the movement. Imagine a world if you add what your gifts are to the opening equation. So this isn't a train station or a subway in New York City. That's the picture. I pulled the picture idea from We Are the World, the Coca-Cola campaign. Remember gathering hands and singing that song? That's where I talked to ChatGPT and asked it these things. One world, one future. It starts with us. And where does it start? It starts with you coming to one of these music festivals or film festivals where AI is featured as an extension, as a powerful rocket ship for the human mind, for the human dreams, and the human imagining. Empower each other, protect our planet, serve with purpose, and build a better future. Volunteer, donate, partner, attend events, imagineaworld.org. So out of the darkest days comes the brightest stars. And I'm suggesting to you that this is what a person can do. If you're depressed as shit after 66 years of living and you think you're within 1 inch of being the most spectacular launch in history and you die, you just get reborn because that's all you know how to do is to never, ever give up. So let me show you what I'm doing now. So this is the presentation to the Levan Center, to Michael, to the whole group. So here is the new one. So we saw what the Levan Center is doing. Holy Cross is connected to them. In fact, most of the nurses went to NSU as well as Broward College to become nurses and people that work there, doctors as well. So NSU is a full doctorate program. The Ocean Science Project is 86,000 square foot Guy Harvey oceanographic research thing, over 12 labs. In fact, they're the National Coral Reef Institute is established by congressional mandate 1998, and the Guy Harvey Research Institute in 1999. Guy Harvey's an artist. Guess what the symbol for Nobel Southeastern is? The shark, baby. This is where I was born to come work. This is the rest of my life. So he's a famous artist, and he's done nothing but give back to the wildlife that he wants to protect. Sylvia Earle and Guy Harvey are NSU's commencement speakers. There's a $39.5 billion impact project going on right now there, right? And they have connections to everybody else. They're the Center for Allopathic Medicine, Dental, Pharmacy, Ophthalmology. 8,000 students across 6 colleges in the health sciences alone every year. Holy crap. So patient zero, patient hero, that's coming here. Here's our website. So yes, Fernando, built on top of Oscar and Brandon's hard work. And we've got it close, not quite there yet. But if you take out your QR code right now, take out your phone, scan that, you can go visit the website. I'm going to walk you through it real quick. There's 4 stops: imagine, learn, seminar, and implement. First, here's the people. This is Michael Berthoff. Get with him. Tell him you want to just promote everything he's all about. He's got a YouTube channel. Follow and watch. He's really quite brilliant. He's made over 1,000 startups. He's run a bunch of them. His invention of a wheel with a motorized interior part was on Shark Tank. You can watch that episode on his YouTube channel. Just type his name, Burtov. Berthoff's innovation officer and executive director at the Levan Center. His mandate is from Broward County, Miami-Dade, and Nova Southeastern University. He answers only to the president of Nova. Okay. There's who he is: serial-backed entrepreneur, inventor with 20 years of startup and ecosystem. He's bought and sold and created, I think, 5 different companies. He's also the leader. They have a once-a-month MIT network that is live simulcast to over 500 people at MIT. In the last one I was at, I got to ask some questions, not realizing where I was, and up pops on screen about 40 or 50 of the brightest minds ever on our planet from MIT. He also went to Harvard, and Nova Southeastern's president, Harry K. Moon, is on the council, and Michael sits on that council. Everything about what I've been doing, this is where it comes from. So here's something I didn't know. So Fernando and I go in there, and I see Anthony. Now, I've known Anthony for 2 years. We met 2 years ago at the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce. I'm sorry, Fort Lauderdale Chamber of Commerce. I'm sorry about that, Anthony, if I got that wrong. So he was in charge of getting people to speak. I had given a presentation at Fort Lauderdale Chamber of Commerce, basically talking about AI in the future. I joined the chamber in order to become a part of it. So I've been to dozens and dozens of meetings. They know me when I show up. I've spoken about AI constantly. Then he asked me to be on the stage. In fact, the second time I was on stage was in the Levan Center, on stage, talking about AI. I was one of only 4 presenters at both events, and I was the one that literally had a line standing in front of me asking me to show what magic I could do with my phone and ChatGPT at the time, or Perplexity, I guess, is what I was. So he's the marketing director for the Levan Center. He was there, and every Monday he comes in. He's also the head of the, here's just a little bit about him. He's also, he's a marketing director there. He's now the new head of the Chamber of Commerce of Fort Lauderdale. So I'm going to go back and do, and this is the big announcement, we're going to do an Upskill Saturday session for all of Nova Southeastern University's personnel, and then do it again in the same location right there at the Levan Center. So the TechMark innovation system is what he built. He also is on the board of directors for the Hispanic Unity of Florida Marketing Committee. What does that mean? Hello, USA. I've already gave it in his hands. He said a year ago he was going to bring it before them. They had so many things going on, but he's getting ready to launch that as well. So we're going to have Upskill USA for real. He's worked digital marketing for Sun Sentinel, the Tribune Corporations, which is they own the Sun Sentinel, San Diego, South Florida. He's got an MBA at International Business from FIU, not Nova, but and University of Florida. He owns Hardcore Advertising Company. There he is, some of his posts. Start following these folks and repost everything that they're all about. Here's Kate Goldman talking about their VITA signs. This was an event created through the chamber that Anthony had something to do with. So this is the kind of ecosystem, the people, Brandon, that we and our Rocketeers are going to join. And this is where we're going to launch everything. Here's an upcoming, this one just happened that I missed it somehow. It was April 17th. This is the 2 keynote speakers, Miami Entrepreneurship Summit. So this is the guy that's doing all the marketing for him. So I figured it, and here's Olympia. Now she is now the dean and professor of law at Nova Southeastern. She was a cub reporter, not much more than 23 years old when she graduated, who came to the neighbor's office where I was the 5-year senior photographer on staff. We did 100 stories together. She's best friends with my ex-wife, who I met there and got married to while we were working at the Miami Herald together. Anyway, before she launched her career. So there she is, and she came up through Nova Southeastern, and now she's the dean. Just about 4 months ago, I think. We're having lunch this next week before I go off to Greece. So there's her story. I'm going to put a lot of this online. I just wanted to kind of put everything together. She's the Strategic Initiatives and Director of the 8th Ranked Legal Research and Writing Program, Before Law Litigation Associate at Rude McCloskey, one of the top ones. Florida Innocence Project volunteer. That's getting people who have been in jail most of their lives out of jail because they prove their innocence. Oh my God. These are my people. And there's Henry Mack. I worked with him when he created BCEX. This is a college-wide initiative, and he got a couple $1 million. I was the design director. We had over 150 people at Broward College that we put through this whole program, and we designed the experience of what that was. He went on to become the chancellor for education for the state of Florida. That would be my boss and Broward College's boss, every other community college, and K through 12. He is now the United States Assistant Secretary of Labor and the former state higher education workforce chancellor and a philosophy professor entrepreneur. That's him. He's the one that's going to make Upskill USA. And take a look at this is Antonio Delgado Forguera. Excuse me, my Spanish. I gotta practice that. He has gotten 10,000 community college professors already trained. He created, as part of the team at Miami-Dade, the world's best 4-year, 2-year, 5 2-year degrees. In 2 years, on their board is NASA. On their board is, everybody. Mark Cuban. Every class you take there, if you are a resident of Miami-Dade, and I'm suggesting to everybody out there, if you move to Miami, if you can afford to live there, send your kids there, and they're going to be golden for the rest of their life. They've got the best program. They don't yet have a humanities program, but guess who's going to create that? Everything humanities, I'm bringing there. They're a partner already with NSU. I've been down there a dozen times, and what I went down there to do is meet with Noelle Russell. She's number 3, according to LinkedIn, expert on AI, period, by her book, Scaling Responsible with AI. All right. She's been my mentor. I've gotten the honor to speak alongside her about image making and AI and the effects of AI a dozen times. And I've been to every one of her meetings over 32 times, I think, down in Miami. At Miami, I mean, it's a 2-hour drive round trip for me, sometimes 3 just to get down there. But I went down every time she was there. She created that program. She was one of the advisors for the entire crafting of the program and has been down there building it. And she speaks literally around the world. I don't know if you can afford about 20 grand every time she gets on a stage. She also was number 9 employee of Alexa, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's right. She is Azure certified. She's in the Microsoft AI Hall of Fame, right? So, and she has the AI Leadership Institute. By the way, follow her every Friday. Everybody can come in, listen to her talk, and she answers questions. She's accessible, and she lives in Fort Lauderdale. She lives in Miami, actually, Weston. So follow her, and then go get the book there, AI Leadership Institute.com book, and then follow Noelle Russell. She is full of information, and she freely delivers it all the time, including her podcast. Then I ran into this guy. This is Dr. GPT. He has that trademark, Harvey Castro. We've had multiple conversations. He's the person I'm trying to get to buy into my whole, I want to be patient zero to hero. I want him to run it. He is working now. He's written 30 books. He's advisor to governments and health systems. He's number 3 in health AI, according to LinkedIn, in the world. He's a multi-TEDx speaker, healthcare AI strategist, and a physician. He's also a emergency room doctor. He's the real deal. So you can find out more about him. And then our own Fernando Mello. Now, Fernando and I, and we spent the last 2 days together, 10 hours total just in the last 2 days. But I feel like he's a brother, another mother, just like Brandon. And what I'm going to say about him is he is, or was, for the federal government, the AI guru. He literally set up their AI strategy, planning, business analytics, governance, and strategic management for the country of Brazil. He's now retired and bringing all of that. In fact, I'm hoping Hello USA will be used to make him a citizen. Actually, United States ought to get him in the country as soon as possible. Give him dual citizenship, because guess where Upskill USA is going next? We've already got it planned. Upskill Brazil. They have the same community college infrastructure that we have, and we're just going to create it here, duplicate it there, and then go around the entire planet until we get the entire planet upskilled. So this is who he is. He's host of Radio Sendados. I won't try to pronounce it. Beba Dada IA, the ABCs of AI. a national program translating AI for ordinary citizens. His signature line, AI didn't come to replace human beings, but to empower them. Whoever learns to use it well will see their productivity grow exponentially. If that's not what we're about, there is nothing else we are about. Thank you. He sat down to me, and I am not joking. One of those 6 different hackathons I went to, again, just showing up, man, is the thing, right? He sat down next to me as I had 5 people joining me. Brandon and I was there, and so was everybody else. He just sat down with me at the first one. Oh, you didn't meet him till the second one, but he sat down to me and says, "Hey, can I join? Because I don't have a team." And he did the whole thing we were doing in like a half an hour. And then he built on the second one, he worked out. And then now he took over where Brandon set up this huge platform. And now he's actually getting it to be working. And we're now working on the installation process for real companies. So that's what we'll be doing up until January, is installing it at Nova Southeastern University and testing it with the university as our first guinea pig, because we're going to be resident there so they can come talk to us when it don't work. And so we're going to get their teams to work with us. So Upskill USA, that's going right to NSU. You've seen this before. This is what we do. I've done it in 4 cities already. Going to do 6 and 7.
As we transition, what I want you to think about is Upskill USA is the place where we put government, businesses, and educators together in a room, and we have this conversation, and we start to solve these small problems, and then we see everybody else and help them solve their own. And we use AI to amplify who we are, what we do, how we do it, and the experience of life itself becomes more purposeful. You became a psychiatrist because of your desire to solve a problem you saw that you uniquely are qualified to do. And the same for nursing and the same for anything. So, I became an artist, and I've been a musician professionally. I've been a fine artist. I was a photojournalist on Miami Hero. Those are all things, that's my why. That's my purpose on this world. And if all of us just want to be of service to each other and to create better experiences, we can solve these problems. And now we got this extra tool to do so with.
So that's what it is. It's teaching everybody in the AI Institute. That's what I did at Broward College. 250 professors, 20 hours of online public service. I actually did more than 50 hours with some of them as they all came to my TV show as I was preparing for what's going to be this next. Then I met people at Chamber of Commerce around the United States, and there's 1,700 community colleges in the U.S. This will also go to universities at the same time because we need all the help we can do. And then we go into the businesses with AI agents. 2 types of agents: the installers. Those are the people like IT professionals that go in there and do it. There are company AI agents that take Microsoft. If you're a Microsoft business, they install their part of it in there to increase skill and performance enhancement. And then we have educators. Those people at community colleges that don't make enough money now become advisors to these companies in the skill set that they know. So the nursing professor goes into hospitals and helps them install what is the best way to do it, and then go back to each of their community colleges to prepare the workforce that needs to come back for upskilling in 2-week to 2-year-long programs where AI is embedded as the most extraordinary amplification of tools that we can imagine. These are the videos that I made, each one of them 2 hours long. I did 5 of them. This is just the first episode, what I covered. What has AI done for you? What's a large language model? What's the impact on jobs? What's going on with the ChatGPT tutors? And what was Sal Khan doing at the time? That's changed tremendously since then. Educating humans, creativity, critical thinking, collaboration, emotional intelligence. So I did this 2 years ago. Take a look at what's on this page. The prompts are still relevant. What's human? What's not human? That's right there. It's slide number 5. I can use that today, and it's the exact same thing. What are the problems? Hallucination, historic role playing. Hey, what do you do with these tools? And there's the tools. Copilot, I wouldn't even put on the list anymore, although Microsoft is coming back. And Copilot, by the way, Microsoft kicked out ChatGPT, and they've improved their products just recently. So stay tuned. That's not over. And then the resources. And that's basically it. Now I have to update this. So this, when you come to our website, so that's it on the left, QR code it right now if you want to. And you can put in this URL, and I'll show you if we end up having time. I think I'm going to go right through the final thing. But when you put in your company, so I put in Nova Southeastern University's URL, it spit out this. If you don't act and put AI into your company right now, you're missing out on $43.4 million of time that's wasted because you're not implementing AI. So the cumulative gap is incredible. Employee planning assumptions, 6,160. So this is our assessment tool that goes through, and you can recover 21,000 hours per week, and that's 1,084,000 hours per year. So that's our calculation. Here's what it comes down to. At Nova Southeastern, they scored a 28. What does that mean? That's horrible. It's disgusting for an institution like this. I'm going to tell you where the problem is. In fact, look at it here. Where's the problem? Enrollment is a huge trapped number of hours. That means that if you do certain jobs, and we'll take a look at, this is just the executive, operates a sprawling, decentralized administrative infrastructure that currently absorbs significant human capital in repetitive, high-volume processing tasks. Failure to modernize these operational foundations risk long-term margins, compression, and diminished capacity to scale research and enrollment output. Institution manages a complex, multidisciplinary research academic ecosystem that relies on heavily legacy administrative workflows and manual cross-department coordination. While high-volume digital touchpoints exist, the reliance on human-in-the-loop verification for admissions and research compliance limits immediate end-to-end autonomy. So it's saying some things you cannot loop automatically because you got to have human to check it out. But that's what we do. So we go in and assess it. So admissions and enrollment, horrible. That's probably got a 10 out of 100, right? My ex-girlfriend actually worked in that department, by the way, and I know firsthand I was trying to get them to start, because she would come home like with carpal tunnel from the amount of manual work that a human should never have to do. And that's why she wanted to get out of there. She's still there, though. Research, same thing. There's trap time. Academic operations, not as much trap time. So admissions and workflow is what I would work on first. Here's the problem with it. So in scope, classify incoming work, draft next actions, route expectations. I saw her job, 40% of her job was just what AI is built to produce, right? And then it tells you, would someone need to explain how these decisions were made? Yes, they would. And let me show you what that looks like. So you continue to imagine, so the workflow, here's what we're going to do. Human review is the gate, assign a human approver before launch. So we have this leak test process. And what we would do, and this is basically what you as an employer, you go through this first section of the website. So if you go to the Imagine tab at the top, it will be all completed. I think it's already done now if you go to it live today. And you'll go through this from a perspective of the company. Then you go in to find out as an employee. So this was the business letter tab. So if you go to implement and you go to business leader, and if you go over to employee, this is what you get. You pick one of these 9 boxes. So I'm going to walk you through. If you picked finance and accounting, money, reporting, and compliance, what are the things? And this is the other ones that were not on that previous list. That's the Ikigai. This is what you would see. I'm sorry, that last slide should have been there. But this is all the things that potentially, these are the main places where the problem is biggest. And then you can go through the step audit. So we have 3 sections. We have automate. That means fully automatable. And it tells you how many hours you're going to save here. So 6 hours every week out of your 40-hour week. AI readiness score, task level competence. So you're going to get to 92% from 24. So we're going to jump that, right? We're going to automate 5 jobs. That's these right here. We're going to augment 10 of them. And we're in this particular thing, finance and accounting, 90% of it is automatable. The own, which means in some way, shape, or form, own means a human has to do that. So here's what they are. Here's the automate. Then you get to augment. So develop revenue forecasts. So that means you're going to have to see what goes on and you're going to have to step in as a human. So we're not going to save as much time there, but preparing ad hoc financial analysis, prepare class forecasts, that's data. That should be always done with AI. And once you build it once, you repeat it, right? Augment, validate budget submissions, conduct profitability analysis. Absolutely. So augment means you're going to work with the AI to do it. Own, to present the proposal. You don't want AI presenting on your behalf to your boss. You got to own that because that's important work. All right, let's take a look at something else. And these are the tools that you're probably already working with. If not, this has got to be installed by the company's own addition to our team. That means we'll have experts from every place. We ask you in the audit on the Saturday, what's the tenet of companies you are working with? So if you have Anthropic, you have Google, you have a workspace that works on any other system, Microsoft, for example, we'll come in with an expert from the company with our experts for the skills installation and our expert educators for your staff. So it's bottom up, recreating how your company works more efficiently. And in the second room on Saturdays, basically in that first thing I showed you, there'd be two rooms. Instead, that thing where you saw me talking in front of the deans of the different departments at Broward College, who spoke later about the impact and what we're bracing for at Broward College and slowly implementing right now. This is what we're going to be doing at NSU. And this is only one of our 9 rocket ships. But I think NSU is the perfect place because you saw they scored a 24. All right, so let's get through this a little bit further. So what we would do is they would come for the weekend 6 hours. They will have watched 2 hours of basic AI online. So they watch 2 hours. They sign up for our program, or your company does. You come then to Chamber of Commerce, goes to City Hall. So we're meeting a neutral space. I got nothing to sell you except the idea that how to prepare for tomorrow. We get paid by the federal government and we get paid by our institutions to be there to represent us because you're going to bring all kinds of business. Right now, community colleges are 40% at capacity. So they're only teaching 60% of the people that they should be teaching 100% of. That means we got slack in the line ready to come have 40% of everybody come back to school for a short or long term to be able to upskill or maybe even reskill if they lose their job because of AI. The community college is going to be waiting and it's going to be paid for by your U.S. tax dollar because we all have to do this together to make America truly great again. This is what it takes, responsibility. You don't get that by just being Donald Trump. He's the opposite of responsibility. So this is what it looks like to adult yourself into the world instead of being a crying baby. Anyway, so turn this into your daily workflow, and this is what we're going to do. All right. So then monitor your KPIs. So this is actually the guardrails and what you need to think about. So these are questions that you're going to have, and then it's going to give you an action plan. So again, this is for that person. So there's the learning path, the task transformation. That tells me all the things that you're doing. Risk level is very low. That means we can install this in probably less than a month. What you're going to do is you're going to go through, look at your workforce points, take a look at any particular unique instances where you have a mainframe computer that was built in 2000 and you haven't updated it. So getting that data from there to there, that's going to be your internal AI person. That's going to meet with our internal AI person to make sure that the pipes are clean. That means that you've got a pipe system how you're working today. We're going to disconnect parts of it and put it in an offline copy. We're going to sandbox it. We're going to then put in our pipes, and then we're going to check if it leaks or fits. At every point, every pipe, you're going to be looking at that employee task transformation, the number of hours, and where the buckets are, and where the human ownership is, and where the tools are. Then we're going to put a sandbox copy of what you do in your workflow. We're going to take 3-month-old data, put it through the workflow system, check for leaks. That means if it gives you a different answer than you did yourself 3 months ago, 2 months ago, or 1 month ago, then we got something to fix. If it's better than you had, you close it up, you clamp it down, you solder that shut, and you move on to the next link. So this is probably, in this case, there's 16 different segments of pipe, if you want to think of it this way. And those each have to be tested with old data as soon as it's ready. So this should take about a month per department, simultaneous to each other. Within 6 months, you're fully working at maximum capacity. You get from 25 to at least 90%. That's our goal. And this is the project. All right, let's change it to marketing, because I did this for Anthony in particular. So you got different demands. And I know this for real because I've worked in marketing departments. I did that for the Sun Sentinel. I did all their training, and I've been teaching this, everything. So I know I added the task of photography. That's something that's probably not going to be automated unless you just need pictures of buildings. You can take old ones and refurbish them and set them up and using AI, whatever. So paid media, storytelling, storyboarding, videos, AI. Super simple to do. SEO, these are all automatable for the most part. So building task transformation. So it makes a map, mapping your selected work tasks, classifying what we can automate, augment, and own, calculating monthly hours saved, and preparing your first pilot. This is what it looks like. Automate, schedule and publish social media posts across platforms. That's 10 hours. If your job is social media for a company, that's 10 hours of your 40 hours. Suggest optimal hashtags, captions. So we've done that on our YouTube channel. In fact, I'm getting ready to recreate every single thumbnail based upon the content. So instead of seeing our two mugs in outer space outfits, you're going to see the title and the reference to each and every one of our YouTube videos. I'm doing that this weekend because I'm tired of looking at the same picture. You got no idea what episode had what in it. So I'm going to do that first because we got to get to monetization because daddy got to get paid. That's all I'm saying, right? Take a look at each one of these. If you know anything about marketing, I'll put this up. All right. Draft blog post and website draft. Take a look at that. And then write compelling copy for various. So A/B test it. Optimize website content for SEO keywords. All that. Okay. You own it. Prepare and present to executive summaries of marketing ROI and strategic recommendations. So that report, you better spend all 40 hours making sure that's perfect. Then you show your boss because you don't want any hallucinations. You don't want any AI BS. There's going to be leaks every time because you're going to get a junior person to do something for you whose responsibility is it when you present it. It's all you, baby. If you're the boss, you better sure it's right. So that's 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours. So there's what you're going to be doing. 8, 10, 18 hours. We just halved your human responsibility. And of course, there's another 10 hours we didn't talk about. So you're going to get 15 to 20 hours taken out of your workflow. And so your 40-hour work week is going to be about 20 hours a week of you doing what you're supposed to do. 5 hours of this, 5 hours of augmentation, and the rest is you. All right, so this is me. You've seen this stuff before. Born in Japan, worked for the Miami Herald, public, big things. There's actually my philosophies of life. To be of service, use your talent in service of others. 2, to bear witness, to tell the truth through image and story and being present. Number 3, responsibility. Technology must benefit humanity. Our responsibility and my personal thesis of living is to make that happen. Beauty, art, and craft still matter in the age of AI. The beauty I create from pain, the fact that this PowerPoint is here representing probably, all of my life, but even this said, show me the stuff about you, as I've been keeping all of my stuff about me and what I've done and what I believe in. This is what it came up with to define who I am. This was all one sheet of paper, by the way. And then I included some of the images there because it didn't have the actual logos and icons, but I did. And there you can take a look at me all over the world, that bit.ly link at the bottom. All right. What do I care about? Witness history. Pulitzer Prize winning journalism on the front lines of storytelling. I taught for 25 years, taught at Broward College, 25 years. Bridged the AI art gap in the last 4 years since it began, Midjourney began. Created across forms, books, plays, songs, keynotes, films, and visual storytelling. and I built missions. And here's just some of them. AITV Starship. As a matter of fact, I noticed that the AITV Starship logo is almost identical to the one that I just showed you I created today. There I am. That was picture in Time magazine. Mel Fisher, he found the Etosha, lost in 1622. 3 hurricanes hit. Nobody found it. He spent 25 years for it, actually 17, 20 total, looking for it. And that's the day he found it. I was the only underwater photographer, and that's my photograph. There I am at the first space shuttle launch. There I am in Chrome detention camp, where wet foot, dry foot for Cubans meant if you step on our land, you're a citizen. For Cubans, for Haitians, it meant go to jail and don't get out and be in unspeakable conditions. And then we're going to take you back to the country you came from. After 300 people lost their lives on one boat. Those people behind me were the survivors. Yeah, that's who I am. In the bottom right is a picture of me and my Macintosh Plus. I paginated the Miami Herald. That's how I got involved in desktop publishing. I saw what the desktop publishing revolution did to my world in graphic design. And then I made sure that we kept up each and every time, because I saw the Miami Herald fail, not to understand what the AI was doing to them, but what social media and the web did to them. It killed the Miami Herald print edition. No one gets the Herald. 80% drop. There was a 1 million circulation at the height when I worked there. And nobody subscribes anymore. In the bottom right is 50 years of the Miami Herald staff. I'm in the back corner next to Brian Smith. Al Diaz is in front of me, best man. Everybody in there I've worked with all of my life growing up and still friends with all of them. There's my classroom. I built this classroom, and because of a lack of money, the building got torn down. This is architected by me and my students. This is a book that we did reviewing the best work of graphic design. There I am teaching the bottom left. That's in Kazan, Russia. Those are my students in Kazan, Russia. And my guide while I was there and translator. There I am in Shanghai, China. I spent 3 summers there, all summer long, staying there, teaching there, going to over 15 different cities, including going to Mongolia, living in a yurt, driving on camels. There's over 25 books that I did as graphic design textbooks. I replaced over $1,000 worth of textbooks with my customized books on typography, Photoshop, Illustrator, photography, print production, graphic design history. Those are the classes. I gave them away to every graphic design educator through Adobe's system of distribution. Those books are still out there. Typography 1, I'm getting a revamp on, but it doesn't need much changing because typography principles are still there. Photoshop, Illustrator, and the rest of them I'm updating as well. And here's my new website coming to a place near you. That's what I'm doing. Upskill USA, Hello USA, Rescue Connect. Those are the 3 missions that are starting first at the Levan Center with Imagine a World Foundation, which is my nonprofit that I'm hoping to get by the end of this month, Olympia Duarte to help me actually make for real. So you can start donating and buying products and such. My arts and media, that's all about me. Now take a look at AITV Starship, then look at the logo now. So that's our new logo. My job is to coordinate all this. I want to be on the board and the founder and stewardship of NSU's world-leading university, along with Michael Berthoff and the rest of the team here, running Upskill, our Imagine a World Foundation. And we're going to launch with Upskill USA, the GI Bill for the AI age. So that's where we're going to start. And this is what you just saw. So you put in your company name, and that's where we set it. So what we're doing is imagine the world in Detroit and the way that the industry worked. That's the engine of America. When we came back, that's the GI Bill for the AI age. This is it visualized. And what I'm going to suggest to you is the framework that we're using for this is when you came back from World War II, you went to community colleges, even universities, and you got a full scholarship. My dad enjoyed that. Every half of my students enjoy that today. I have a dozen students or more right now that fought in Iraq, that are in school now doing this. I had ones that were during the Iraq war, were in my class when they came back because of the GI Bill. So imagine that business leaders and workers agree on the target, the gift, a free AI audit revealing the hourly capture potential. 2, how do we adapt ourselves? Domain preserving pivot. The orb is reshaping Gandalf's certified domain. So we're saying to educators, do what you do, but the education system was created in 1950s, 40s, and 60s. The final version, the teaching to the test, the bullshit that we passed for K through 12 today was built in Detroit to make you better at crafting automobiles by standing there and building them piece by piece. That's not how you educate a human being, but that's literally what we're doing in K through 12. So here's the shift. I'm Gandalf. I found out what you're good at, and I'm going to help you be the best at that. That's my job. You're freaking Frodo. And we know that if I identify you're going to be great at teaching, I'm going to know what that is. And then K through 12 is just going to be your 10,000 hours to be the best in the world at that. And then when you're released with all your power, you're doing what you were purpose built to do on the planet. Holy cow. And then what do? Have a seminar for those people that are from the old world before AI showed up. And we're going to work with them side by side to fine tune the plumbing so they can do their job. So what are we building? Are we building 1957 cars? Hell no. We're building electric cars that are self-driving. And we're building it with the robots that we put there to build it. Ask Elon Musk how many people work in his factories. Zero. The car will drive to your home. So you put in the metal at one end, robots build it, it comes out the other end, completely built, and it can drive to your house. So what are we humans doing if we're not on the factory line? Which, guess what happened to Detroit, baby? It went to China now. It went to Tokyo, Japan then. And it's going to go where? To robots. And already has in China. And Tesla's already got there. What do you think he's building all those robots? That's it. The question is, how do we implement it for the humans? What's left for us? Everything that we want to do. This is the slave engine. This is the too hot to get close to it fire, right? We're safe, but we can do what we're supposed to do. The GI Bill for the AI age is to upskill our humanity. Rebuilding the American middle class, which is zero population compared to what it used to be.
This video on retooling the engine of America. We are looking at a bottom-up architecture for the workforce in the age of intelligence, transitioning from the gas-powered economy of the past to a human-amplified future. A significant portion of a knowledge worker's week is consumed by repetitive, non-human tasks like data entry and routing. This mechanical residue represents 24 billion hours annually, trapping over $570 billion in potential labor value. The industrial era didn't just build cars. It exported a mindset of work as a repeatable task and education as an assembly line. Creating an interchangeable human part is exactly what artificial intelligence is built to absorb. We face a demographic squeeze. By 2050, the population over 65 will surge, meaning fewer workers must carry a heavier load. We cannot simply hire our way out. We must raise output and wages per worker to survive. Fortunately, we have a dormant engine. 1,167 community colleges built decades ago that are currently underutilized. This existing, trusted infrastructure is ready to fuel the AI transition without needing to build from scratch. We are seeing an inversion of cost. While frontier models require billions in capital, applied intelligence is becoming nearly free. The competitive moat is no longer the model itself. It is the deployment. In this new landscape, the worker must be the author. Domain experts should map their own workflows and install AI tools, pressure testing them with dead data before ever applying them to live operations. AI isn't killing jobs. Shallow adoption is killing companies. Data shows that high-intensity AI adopters see significant headcount growth and increased hiring, while those who only dabble in AI technology see zero growth. Enter the time capture contract. Employers commit to no involuntary separations due to AI skills, while workers redeploy recaptured hours into higher value work. We don't fire, we upgrade. The payload is real, lives saved. AI-supported screenings have shown major increases in detection rates and significant workload reductions, potentially saving thousands of lives annually through focused, community-led training. This retooling matrix shows the shift, from thousands of moving parts to system orchestration. Complexity doesn't disappear. It migrates up the value chain toward human judgment. We are reaching escape velocity. Autonomous fleets and cheaper energy can return land and time to the worker, severing the old link between prosperity and extraction. In the Thinking Economy Academy, continuous adaptation replaces outdated credentials. Teachers don't compete with machines. They use them to reach every student, focusing on the uniquely human act of mentorship. The final curriculum focuses on the humanities. The machine can compute the trajectory, but only a human can choose the star. We are navigating toward a healthier, more meaningful life. Imagine a world where AI prepares you, and you make the decisions. We don't fire, we upgrade. AI for reach, humans for grasp. The engine is built, the fuel is free. It's time to turn the key.
There you go. So that's what we're doing. Upskill USA. These are the numbers you've seen already from my previous website. If you want to check this out, it's still up there. upskillusa.rickmccauley.com. Take a look at these jobs and see if your job is in this list of the most vulnerable, as you see there in red. Customer service, computer support, bookkeeping. Those are jobs that are just flat going away. Financial clerks, not necessary in tomorrow's world. So if you're looking at office administration, its vulnerability is almost none, 9 out of 10. So there's 2,814 jobs. You can actually take a look at all of these different jobs. I believe there's 347 jobs total that are itemized here. And then click on the BLS button in the profile at the bottom to get detailed like what you see here in the front. There's the page itself. This is about a customer service representative and their declining job outlook. So 153,000 of them just went away last year, are expected to change in employment. So you can take a look at this. Here I am at Career Source Broward. This is where I did a presentation there on Upskill USA. And I'm working with them as they work with Broward College and all of Broward County. So we have a really progressive situation here. Community colleges funded by the GI Bill level funding, a national upskill standards organization, which will make sure every college professor has the skill upskilled for their own domain, 10 hours of domain-specific AI usage for teaching and educating, and then creating things like virtual standards for nursing to be able to go into a human heart and take a look at it in 3 dimensions. AR and VR are already a huge part of our nursing community, but AI is the one thing we haven't implemented fully. We already see how it saves lives in pre-noting and predicting what kind of cancers, how quickly they're spreading, years ahead of just human beings doing the job. They have the ability to add efficiency, timeliness, and save thousands and thousands, if not millions of lives every year. Remote and local professional development available to everybody around the clock. The tuition for a community college is $3,860 per year. Nova Southeastern, I think, is $34,000 per year, 10 times per year, more per year. It's a leading university, which means you got 4 years of that. So you're talking $120,000. It's going to cost you to go there. Broward College, my degree, is a 2-year degree. Graphic design, 97% employment up until this year. This year, we're having trouble getting internships. They don't know that my students have AI training. In fact, if it weren't for me, they wouldn't, because the other educator has still got the sand and the head in the sand, I hate to say. So that's what we've got 40% of the capacity is not being used right now. And I think we're going to end it right there. This is just an event poster I did. This is what I teach at my seminars. So everyone leaving there gets this, and including custom-made prompt GPT for everything you need to know. And that's what we're getting ready to do. Career coaching, resume building, and this is what it looks like. The 2 rooms are boardroom for capital, and the other side is labor. And that's the 6 hours on local things that we're going to do. And then what has failed in America? People are dabbling. They're trying to put it in there, and they're saying, buy all this stuff and install it. No, it doesn't work that way. You need people to teach you how. The ones that do it are succeeding. So we need to get rid of the cotton field plumbing and take 10 hours and keep the judgment, relationships, and empathy. That is a $571 billion savings approximately. This is what it looks like before. This is what it looks like when we succeed. Millions of lives saved for this advanced breast cancer screening. Emergency medical, where you have this kind of heads-up display for every emergency person based upon a chip inside that person that activates everything available about that human being on the planet into your glasses in real time. This is what classrooms look like. This is what a truck driver looks like. This is what a pizza bot looks like. This is what can you imagine get rid of all the potholes? China already paved 3,000 kilometers of roadways, and they're doing that with no humans involved. Anyway, that's the future. And I'm going to stop there. I was going to talk about my story, but it looks like we're at 10 o'clock and end times. All right, we're back. Baby.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot,
Rick.
Right? You got an idea what we're doing?
I'm blown away. I'm blown away, Rick. That's amazing.
And it's happening, right? It's just happening. And yeah, I think that's I literally I gave up. I was crying all night long. And then I just said, no, I've been to dark places before. I've been to places where I wanted to kill myself. Thank God I didn't. And if I can do that, that just means there's nothing could stop me. So if you want to talk about what a dangerous man really is that you can go from the darkest place and you can create the most beautiful thing. And I know this is it. There is
I know you have a million reasons to live now that you found your way through the light. I'm going to give you one more. Claude just reset Fable access for the weekend again. So every 5 hours in the weekly reset. Rumor has it Kimmy 2.3 or 3.2 or whatever number it is coming for their lunch. So they're talking about extending Fable again. And Gemini 3.5 still not up to coding, and it's getting delayed again.
Yeah, and on top of that, so Gemini's got some work to do, but they're going to come out with the thing. I think this Gemini notebook thing, they realize that everybody's attention's on there. And now you see why I got excited about it. So this is new, and we'll do a tool time next week where we'll get deep into what they are doing, and hopefully by then the new one will come out, because it's been a month, almost 2 months since it's been delayed from when it was supposed to come out. And the Kimmy thing that you should know about, that's on device. So if you get a device as good as, say, 4.6 Claude, 90% of all the work we're talking about will be on device. I think by the time we get Upskill USA in businesses, 90% of it will be on your own company's servers, serving up your internal device, not even going out on the internet. So if it's health data, you got it siloed on your physical device.
More on that next week.
And Brent,
until then,
I got to tell you, what time you created. Oh my God, I really want everybody go there and then pass it around to everybody. I want to see that spike to 10,000. As a matter of fact, I looked at my output for my Notebook LM. It went up to 197 2 days ago. So something happened. It's blowing up. So version 2 is coming out soon. I'm going to keep that same name. So I'm going to put the new one in. And I got some new exciting stuff coming up. Brandon, man, you're a beautiful man. Thank God you're on this planet.
Nice.
And your children, your family. Love and namaste to all of you.
And I am so blessed to be here with you on this rocket ship ride. We will see you next week. He's Rick, the AI guy. I'm producer Brandon. And as Rick says, namaste.
And in 2 weeks, we'll be coming to you from Greece. Actually, next week, Athens. See you soon.
Rick, you got to tell me. You can't drop something like that at the end of the show. We're going to talk offline about that.